we're going to be living in a transparent society, and that's actually going to be rather strange for everybody.
That's Richard Aldrich, the Professor of International Security at the University of Warwick. Thank you. And on Sky News for iPad, there's analysis from our Foreign Affairs editor Tim Marshall, including a full interview with the former boss of GCHQ and a guide to who's who in Britain's intelligence services. Sky customers can access the app for free with a Sky ID. The world of social media is aflutter with tweets about Twitter's flotation on the New York Stock Exchange. 70 million shares have been priced at $26 each, which is above its expected range and should raise $1.8 billion. We're joined now from Central London by Head of Strategy at the media agency the7stars, Dino Myers-Lamptey. Good morning. Is it worth it then?
Yeah, I think we can say it is, because we can look at what's happened in the past from the likes of floats like Facebook, and even though there's a lot of speculation about whether it'll actually generate returns, it very quickly did, and they've turned it round. So I think we can say that yes, it probably is. It is worth it. It certainly is from our perspective at the7stars. It's a good, exciting prospect. And
how smooth sailing is this process going to be, do you think? Because it's not always, is it?
Yes, I mean, I think that there's a lot of people they've got to please with such a high price tag. Investors are expecting a lot to return, and I think that the big question is what advertising is going to do, and how that's going to change the experience for the consumer, but also what it's going to mean for brands as well, and what the opportunities will then arise. So there are big expectations, and it might not necessarily go as smoothly in the first instance, but I think we can be confident that they'll have a lot of money to make it go right. So we've got confidence in the fact that it'll go pretty well this time.
But is there the danger if they're introducing things like the advertising side of it that actually that could alienate users?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think that users is their #1 concern, as it should be, because that's their currency. The great thing about Twitter is that it's very real time, it's very live, and that's unique to them. And they can't interrupt it too much with advertising, but they still need to make advertising work because that is their key source of revenue. So certainly, from an advertiser's perspective, we're looking and hoping that they're going to develop more opportunities. They're going to be smarter with things like data, even actually, to start to really get the site working in lots of different ways. So it won't interrupt the user experience, but it'll just make it better and make advertising much more engaging for the user.
Because when we look at the figures, it is yet to make a profit since launching 7 years ago, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, that is certainly the case, but they're still making decent revenues, and it was the case as well with the likes of Facebook and also Amazon as well. Still loss-making technically, but the fact is they're getting a lot of people using it and spending time there. So turning around profit is a thing that can be done. They're investing a lot. They're acquiring companies. They acquire companies like Vine, and they're putting a lot into the product, so you can expect at this point they're not necessarily going to be making huge profits, but it's something that as long as they keep people interested, we're confident that they will turn around and start to make decent profits.
But isn't that the danger, though, that there are lots of people using it at the moment, but with these kind of sites you never know when they'll move on to the next big thing?
Absolutely, indeed, and that has always been a big concern. So companies have to constantly be evolving and adapting, but mainly with the user in mind as well. We've seen things like Facebook, actually, the numbers, pretty much flatten off in the UK, and this is a big concern actually. But where they've expanded is abroad. They've expanded to new territories, new markets, and they've got to keep on evolving the product. And I think the same thing will be the case for Twitter. Currently, it's a very simple but unique service, but they still need to think about keeping people engaged, keeping people interested. It's got a great fact that it's actually really well used by a lot of influential people, and as long as they keep on using it and keep on interested in the fact that it's live and it's been noticed, then I think it'll head in the right direction. It'll keep on doing well.
Thanks for that. That's Dino Myers-Lamptey there from the media agency the7stars.
Thank you.
Well, on Sky News for iPad, details of previous tech IPOs, a look at the man who created Twitter and the numbers surrounding the company as well. And don't forget, that app is free for Sky customers. All you have to do is log in with your Sky ID. This is Sky News. Coming up, all the business news from the city and
we had liftoff of the Soyuz rocket and the TMA-11M spacecraft on a truly Olympic leap, delivering 3 more crew members.
Now the Olympic torch is blazing a trail into outer space.
The seamless transition of humans.
Get ready for a Super Sunday hat-trick of Premier League football on Sky Sports.
Absolutely superb!
3 games, 1 day. Live only on Sky Sports.